What's up, everybody? You see the name of the show. You see the names of the people on your screen. We're about to recap the Fall Classic, one of the best World Series we've ever seen, well, at least for our lifetime. But I'm gonna start with the introductions. As you know, Tito here. Storms, what's going on, buddy? How you doing, bro?
I'm just happy to be here.
Ty, I'll kick it over to you because I know you got a lot to say. You're a world champion, as you can see from the grin. Go ahead, bro. What you got to say about your Dodgers, man?
I mean, I wish I had bottles and sparklers going everywhere, but it's nice to be back-to-back champion, basking in all my glory. It pays to be the boss, and we paid well. So cash money. Let's get this three-peat going, man.
Yeah, now that you guys have two in a row, you can start with the three-peat. And how about everybody talking? They were talking that talk about Yamamoto getting paid before he even threw a pitch, and well, it all paid off this postseason, didn't it?
Hey, spend money money well spent, and I mean, what more can I say? Otani was worth his money. Freddie Freeman was worth his money. Mookie Betts was worth his money. So shout out to the front office for putting guys around those stars, and that's how we pulled this off.
Yeah. So let's take it back a game. Go ahead, Sons. Looks like you want to say something.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you know how much this man behind me was worth every penny of that contract,
Mm.
and this isn't even going into what he accomplished throughout the whole postseason, but just in the World Series, he had three appearances. So he comes in, he throws a complete game in Game Two, steals home field advantage away from Toronto. Then in Game Six, he comes out and throws seven scoreless innings and doesn't give Toronto a single at bat with a runner in scoring position. And then he comes out and locks it down in extras in game seven.
He don't even have to do anything else. He just earned his pay right there.
Yeah.
That's all we gotta say.
Seven. So this is his World Series line: 3-0 win loss record, 17 and two thirds pitched, 10 hits, two earned runs, 15 strikeouts, two walks. That's good for a 1.02 ERA, a 222 batting average on balls in play. He had 44 called strikes and 29 swinging strikes. I mean,
Mm.
it was just a masterclass.
The MVP for a reason and well earned,
Mm-hmm.
man. So since we're talking a little about the series, let's throw it back a game. How about to game six, where Toronto Blue Jays could have closed it out if it wasn't for that Barger mental error in the ninth inning, man. He hits a double. Credit to Dean out there in center field and also Kike and left throwing their hands up to signal that the ball was stuck underneath the fence right away. Let's talk about that play a little bit. Storms, I'm gonna throw it over to you. How about that heads up play by both of them to stop and to put their hands up so the umpire could go ahead and call it ground rule double?
Yeah, that was great because I don't know how many times. Like, it's not something that happens often in Major League Baseball, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the rule states that the runners get two bases or they have to stop wherever they are when the fielder throws his hands up.
They have to stop. They're not given the base.
But I mean, we've seen a few different times where guys are late putting their hands up or don't even think to do it at all and end up giving up a run that may make the difference in the game. And it definitely would have in that one.
Yeah, it was a huge difference, and to throw it forward a couple plays after that, um, I'll throw it over to you, Ty. When Dave Roberts actually made this call instead of having Kike play no doubles, he pulled them forward a little bit too, so that way it takes away the cheap single for Jimenez. And as we see, that was actually the difference in the game because Kike caught it and then doubled up Barger at second. That was a huge play, wasn't it, Ty?
What's even more incredible that I got called out, and I think Kike said it best. He couldn't even really see. because of the lights. So the fact that he was able, to stick with it uh, was kind of epic right there in itself. I say, but you hit the nail on the head as far as this series. You got to give Davis credit for making sure that he positioned his players well to be able to be themselves, play within themselves, and just make epic catches, stops, just being in the right place at the right time. So many, line drives were cut off. So many good, catches, and that was the whole series. So a shout out to defense. That was the real MVP of this series, I say.
For both sides, honestly, I mean, both teams played really good defense. I mean, the difference really was that the Blue Jays gave some outs on the base pads, on that really made the difference. I mean, if you go back all the way to game three, and I said this with Johnny Radio on radio on the call today, is that just like we talk about with you can't give the offense or the people, obviously the batters, an error and give them an extra out. By the Blue Jays running the base pads the way they did and getting outs on the base pads, that just ruins your entire inning. You run yourself out of an inning. They did that 5 times this World Series. When Schneider got thrown out when he was halfway home by Edman. In the same game, Edman threw out IKF at third base, and both times they were bringing up their hardest hitters, which was Kirk and Vladdy to tie the game, and they didn't get the opportunity. Then Barger got doubled up at second base in Game 6, and then we're talking about Game 7 in the World Series where Vladdy struck out, and they had Springer on the move. For what reason? I have no idea when he has a bum knee and he got thrown out at second. And then, not to mention, when Bo Bichette was on first base and Varsho was batting, and the ump called the strike all late, and he got, picked off at first. That's just boneheaded play.
Question, I'm gonna bounce back off. That situation in game 7, do you blame the call or do you blame the execution of the batter?
Which call, Mo?
Like, do you blame the Blue Jays coaching staff for calling that a quote unquote hit and run, or do you blame the batter for not executing it?
No, it has to be the manager in that situation because they're the ones that put the call on, and knowing that Springer has a bum knee and you're putting him on the move with your hottest batter, you don't do that. You got to give the you can't take the bat away from Vladdy. And if you look at it, Vladdy actually that ball was in the zone and it was on the outside zone, and Vladdy looked like he stopped his swing because he noticed that Springer was on the move. You just took the bat out of his hand. What do you got to say about that, Si?
I wholeheartedly agree. You got to know your roster and what they're capable of doing. And if you have somebody who's hurting like that and has that kind of injury, if you're going to do that, either you put somebody in there who can make that play with no doubts, with no limitations, or you change the call.
What do you got to say about that, Storms?
I totally agree. Excuse me. It really comes down to Dave Roberts made those calls in the right situations, and John Schneider didn't.
Skipper, I know you got to say something. Your name says it all. What's up, Skip?
First of all, it's my season debut at the end of the season. Like I like that how that worked out. You know what I'm saying? No, but first of all, I think we are all in agreement that what you guys said about that specific play. I was kind of confused on some of that stuff as well because it just didn't look right. Your best hitter in that situation, I mean, can we argue that he probably played one of the craziest at bats in World Series history, and you took the funk out of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he single-handedly kept them in the series by what he was doing, and then I mean, look at what he did in extra innings. He got a double and almost put him right back into the game if it wasn't for, them not getting him in. But taking that bat out of his hands just doesn't make any sense. And the other thing I want to talk to you guys about is how about what Schneider did with his bullpen? What do you guys think about them bringing in your Savage? Well, and doing what he did, a couple nights before. And not only that, he had a good inning, but he let him go out for a second inning. Did you guys like that? What do you guys think about that, the way he was pitching? Storms, I'll go to you first, man.
Well, I told you guys during the game, I thought that Savage should have been held back to be used as the closer. Um, that, no, I didn't like it at all. This is a guy in his first year of professional baseball. He's gone all the way up the ranks to the major leagues. He has exceeded expectations at every turn. And it gets to a point where you're asking too much of a guy who's never played a baseball season longer than like 50 games to be doing this in November. Like I don't know. I felt like Schneider was asking too much from him. I didn't feel like after having pitched so recently, he was a guy who would have the type of experience who'd be able to go out and be effective for more than an inning. Because I mean, one thing that a lot of guys learn at the major league level is how to navigate the rest of an inning once you're on the mound and realize that you're out of gas.
Yes.
And that was the situation that Savage found him in. And you got to remember, this guy has 3 more postseason appearances than he does regular season appearances. He hasn't had time to figure any of that out.
Yep. And I'm gonna throw over a different question to you, Ty, and I said this on the live yesterday. Aside from your Savage, bringing in Bassett right before your Savage came in. Bassett's pitched an inning yesterday, and actually, I believe he allowed 2 hits, 1 run, and walked the batter. And I said it on the live. I didn't like him coming in because that was his third game in a row pitching. And as we talk about all the time, the more you see a pitcher, the more comfortable you are facing him, and the more pitches you're gonna take because you already seen them before. What do you think about that? Bringing them Bassett 3 days in a row.
So I'll say with Bassett, at least he didn't go out with that one pitch like Hoffman and Savage did. Savage, unfortunately, I think he let that splitter get away from him, and Max got on it. Because if you remember in Savage, like the first pitch he had, he got him looking, I think, right? Either looking or swinging, I forget. But back to Bassett, though, I mean, you trust a guy who's seen a lot of experience. I've said that before on past shows, and in a game like this, a game 7, most of your starters are going to be used just if the game is tight as it was. But when you give up that many hits, you got to move on to the next guy, and I think that's where you wanted to see if your Schneider, if Bassett could get out of it. But unfortunately, that was too much of a risk, and unfortunately, that sac fly is what allowed Mookie to score. So, like I said, at least he didn't have that one pitch get away from him, and I'll tip my hat to that.
Skip, what do you say, man? Bringing in your Savage after having a Savage type outing, or bringing in Bassett, man? I don't like the way Schneider played around with his bullpen yesterday. I don't like that.
I think the bullpen, the rotation that he did with his bullpen was ultimately his undoing in general, as we've seen, more than it was anything else. Because I don't think there was any reason for you to some of the things that he did just didn't make sense. Like keeping somebody too long. Like sometimes that one inning is all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it comes to pitching. I don't care what anybody says. Some relief guys are just one inning guys. I think that's kind of what we were witnessing there is just a one inning guy. Why did we come back to him after that? And then we got other things. Again, overthinking stuff in the big moments is what gets us into some bad situations. And we talk about it in any sports. Coaches, managers, whatever, they will lose them because the players obviously are the ones that win them.
Yeah, well, and adding to what you said, like this more than any other game. This is Game 7 of the World Series. This is the only time that every single pitcher on the staff is available to you. Why would you choose to throw anyone out there for 2 innings when you've got 11 different arms you can throw at a lineup versus letting them, you throw
That is
you
an
throw a guy out there
excellent point.
you throw a guy out there for a second inning, and it's the 4th time that they've seen him already in the last week. Then the guys that faced him in that first inning are going to go back into the dugout and go, "Hey, he doesn't have it tonight, y'all. The sliders are hanging. The fastball's missing outside. Just take your time. Wait for a slider middle. I didn't see it coming. That's what got me."
And that's what Muncy hit out. That's
Hey,
good.
you know what? I think you guys just said something really interesting in perspective, Storms. I think that's something that's so interesting that you just brought up. With you having access to that many arms in a winner-take-all game, it's damn near like you could have thrown a different pitcher every inning.
Yeah,
And
100%.
Just to give
that could be a good thing or a bad
just to
thing.
give them something that's off balance. Like that would be the most off balance, craziest thing that you'll probably ever see in a World Series, but it probably will be very, very effective.
I mean, you're asking a lot from a pitcher that just came from low A ball to pitch into the World Series and had the outing of his career in his life to do it again in Game 7 for 2 innings. That's a hard ask, man. It really is, and you put a lot on the kid, and for you to put him in that position, I didn't like it.
I mean,
I didn't like it
but
at all.
can we also talk about against the competition or the level of competition that it was against as well?
Right,
I think
right.
that is the key thing. We're talking about one of the best lineups in not only just in the league, but this lineup can go up against some lineups in history.
Ever constructed, yeah.
It's current in the current in this. I cannot talk. In 2025, that lineup is second only to Toronto.
Yeah.
So right there, right? The best lineup that you face that's not your own team, and you asked him to go do something that he did 1 inning twice, and then not only that, did it backfire and bite you in the butt? It also probably we're gonna see next year, but that could have broke his confidence.
So here's the thing that was with your Savage and your Savage's corner before going into this series and any other series. It was the unknown because nobody's seen the kid. Now you're telling the kid to pitch 3 times against probably the best lineup in baseball, and they've already seen the stuff that he has. Come on now. Like you could have thrown anybody else out there. You put him in as a rookie, and like I said, all through AA, and that just wasn't a good call. Ty, chime in, bro.
Well, I mean, on the flip side, though, and this is why like it's tricky as a manager and why you can really stress yourself out. If you look at recency bias says we sort of made it work. I mean, you still outscored the Dodgers, and you wanted to give them a puncher's chance, which you did. You were successful in giving your team a puncher's chance to put up runs in bunches, and in 3 games out of 7, you did that. So if you look at recency bias, Bassett had a good game 1. He had a good game 3. So you're thinking to yourself, it's not a big deal. We're still in this, and they were. And then your Savage, of course, against some of your best batters, keyword, your best talent, you feel confident. So I can see why Schneider made it. Now, was it the right call? I don't know. Some people would have said you should have rolled with Max a little bit more, but he also gave up a lot of hits.
Mm-hmm.
So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. In this case,
Can I just dare I say, we talk about this all the time, and I think we argued about this on this program a lot last year. Small ball and being able to just have guys who hit and get on base is more important than hitting home runs, because the more pressure and the more guys you put around the pitcher that are on base guys still put pressure on pitchers. I don't care what you say, because one hit to a gap is going to score a guy from first base in this MLB. It's just how it goes. So why are we sitting here still not honoring the fact that small ball or making contact consistently is not a thing that scares managers? It's going to be a situation where your guys are going to give up hits. We're in a 7-game World Series. Did you really think even ace pitchers weren't going to give up hits? It just doesn't make sense. We've seen these pitchers all year round. We've seen some of these pitchers for what? 10 years, 15 years, 7 years. It's been so long that we've seen some of these guys. You don't think there's guys that hey, these are the pitches he's throw well. If he doesn't get on this early, we're going to get on him early like this. It's just so much scouting and so much homework out on you. At this point, if you've been around, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
So you gotta be. Sometimes it's about. I'm not going to be on a manager for giving up runs with a guy that he's going to ride and die with more than I'm going to be on it when like Ohtani. Ohtani pitched so well that if you have to ride with him. You have to until he taps his jersey and says, "Hey, I can't do this no more." Are you?
Except Game 7, that was an outlier. You do
Well,
not.
and the other thing is, I think the other time when you don't do that is right after an 18-inning game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, you're not going to find anybody who is competitive enough to be playing at that level at this time of year, who is going to tell you that, okay, yeah, I'm gassed, I need to come out, especially when they know they're the greatest baseball player that's ever set foot on a diamond.
Touche.
Right. Now, on the flip side of that, we give a lot of shit to this one manager, and rightfully so, Dave Roberts, for what he does, and some of the stuff that he does, and some of the stuff that he doesn't do. But this Game 7 was a masterclass, and he showed his managerial experience and his postseason experience doing what he did in this game alone. Just playing Rojas on a hunch that he was going to do something, which he did. He made two fantastic plays. One was a tying home run. The other was a run-saving play at the plate. Then subbing Edman and putting in Pages to make that wonderful catch in center field. 2 plays right before it happened. You know, I gotta say, man, kudos to Dave Roberts. I can't give him shit for this because this was all over him. The way he used the bullpen, he used all of his starters. He didn't overuse any of his starters. You got to give it to him. And Ty, go ahead, Skip. I'll let you go, Jerm.
I'm gonna pass it right to you, Ty, because I'm gonna say this. Sometimes failure is our best friend. The Dodgers have failed so much that this is probably their winning season more than it is any other time because they failed in every way possible that you can possibly fail. So now it is strictly off instinct. Now we can just play because you know what? It can't get any worse than what we've already been through. And I just want to say, Ty, your manager did some things here this particular postseason that was on next level type of, hey, I've already failed once at this, and you learn from the mistakes. Shout out to him for that. But most importantly, more important than anything else, bro, failure is our best teacher. I just have to make sure we say that.
And just before you go, Ty, for me, this game and this game alone, based off of what he did, put him in the Hall of Fame. Go ahead, Ty.
I'll say this. And one of the things that I love that if you go back to the 2-game special that we got, the most pictures that were used in us came from the bullpen. And how did Dave Roberts adjust after that? He started using his starters. You got Glasnow, who did pitch also in Game 6 as well, and then did 2 innings in Game 7. You didn't trust like Dave Roberts was like, hey, I'm going to see who's loose, who feels, I'm going to take a look around, at my club, see who's feeling right, who's up, who has it right up here. And he trusted the fact that hey, my guys, who I rode all season long, who pitched the most innings, they'll get us through this. And Glasnow and Snell. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't have picked Snell after what I saw in previous games, but he trusted his fresher arms. And as a manager, you got to not only look in your players' eyes and know, are you ready for this moment? Do you want to go? But also know that, hey, after that game that never ended, that had everybody sleep, and if you watched it, props to you. You're the real MVP. I'm not going to trust the bullpen that pitched the longest game ever. I'm going to trust, my guys who can handle a lot of innings and handle it well. So that was the key right there, for sure.
Thorns, chime in, bro. What you got to say?
Not only did he trust his fresh arm, I mean, look, Blake Snell's the guy that's been here, right? So that makes a huge difference too, and I mean that whole rotation. Yamamoto obviously hasn't been in a World Series before, but correct me if I'm wrong, but he's won a Japan Series, right?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, well, there you go.
Champion's a champion, a champion.
And we already know he's won a World Baseball Classic.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Champion's a champion, a champion.
So, Dave not only trusted his fresher arms, he trusted guys that have been there, that have done that have proven. And I've been maybe a little harder on Snell than I should have been the last 2 or 3 years, because he really did reinvent himself a little bit after winning that last Cy Young where he had a lot of people were mad about him winning because he had, I think it was a 5.0 walk per nine that year.
Yep.
But I don't remember who I heard say it, but basically what happened was somebody just told him, hey, your stuff plays. You don't need to nibble around the strike zone. Just go after hitters. They will swing and miss. And and now we've got the version of Snell that deserves a Cy Young.
So I gotta give props where props is due. And Trav, about 4 years ago, said he'd rather have Blake Snell than DeGrom in the playoff series. And I made fun of him and I laughed in his face.
I remember that.
Trav, good fucking call. Good fucking call. Because nobody would have seen this coming from a pitcher that didn't go more than 5 innings. Nobody's seen this coming from a pitcher that was not consistently in the strike zone. He reinvented himself, and he had a good series.
That is really interesting. That 5-inning thing is really interesting, though, man.
Yeah, he reinvented himself, man. He's completely different pitcher. But I have a follow-up question for all of y'all on here, and I'll start with you, Storms. Is Dave Roberts a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
All right, simple yes.
This is his 3rd championship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you want to say that it's the money and the payroll, that it's because they have a literal all-star team. They do. So what? He's still won 1,000 games in like 11 and a half years. Like that's insanity. Of course he's a Hall of Fame manager.
Yep. Ty?
What's the criteria?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any criteria.
The criteria are Dave's in.
I mean, that's the boxes as far as manager of the year. He has it. He's only got one, but you got the championships, and then you have the wins. The career probably win percentage as well. How many seasons were 100-game winners? How many division championships? How many pennants as well? So I would say the person that you would compare him to, as far as who had more controversy because of the talent that he had around him, Joe Torre. Joe Torre, Hall of Famer, right? Mm-hmm. So there you go.
And he's been the Dodgers manager since 2016, and not one time not once in a full season have the Dodgers won less than 91 games.
Was about to say that, and out of those 9 years, he has 5 pennants, 3 World Series, Manager of the Year, like you guys said, has won 944 games. That includes 1 year with um, San Diego, of course. Well, he was only a manager, I think, for one game anyway. But that so 944 wins with the Dodgers and 575 losses with the Dodgers.
And somehow he's done all that while only getting tossed 14 times.
Let's not forget, he has a championship as a player too, and he gave to the game as a player. Not saying he was the greatest, but 2004, solidified his status as a player.
Right, but if he's getting in, it'll be as a manager, definitely.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, he's a 9 more player for his career, not per season, but hey.
So, with that being said, fellas, we're gonna have to do some off-season shows, for sure, some awards and all that. Go ahead.
Question though. So, I think we're all going to say yes because I can't really think of any that was better. But was this the best Game 7? Was this the best World Series you've ever witnessed? I got to ask you.
Wasn't the best Game 7, I don't think. But it might have been the best World Series as a total.
Well, I'm curious.
I think that Cubs and Cleveland back and forth extra inning Game 7 was a little bit more exciting from an offensive standpoint. And then we got this one, which was probably a little bit more better for defensive purposes and things like that. I think that would be a good clash right there.
Yeah.
You're talking about a check swing home run on Aroldis Chapman. That's crazy in itself to tie the game in the 9th inning.
So
they don't call him the Cuban Missile for nothing.
Man, what?
I think Game 7 had both of those Game 7s were good in their own right, meaning the Cleveland and the Cubs. It was something to where both teams, well, the Cubs haven't won it in forever, and Cleveland's never won it. And this year it was more of, the Dodgers trying to be taken down by a smaller market team, even though they spent a lot of money, which was the 5th highest payroll in all of baseball. And like you said, just seeing what Dave Roberts is doing in real time and everything executing and working his way was just dramatic and just masterful in my mind. Just seeing that play out was great. Toronto has nothing to hold their heads down about, man. Honestly, they played them really well, and they took them to the brink. They had them on the ropes, and if it wasn't for them allowing them back in the game or the series, for them, doing what they did on the bases, and not only that, man, we had the benches cleared in Game 7. That they almost fought. So there's that. For me, I put this series in this Game 7 up there. Now, the 91, I understand it was a really good Game 7, but I was only 5 years old. I didn't remember that. I can't talk on that. But for me, this is one of my favorite, the best ones. Just take the teams out of it. Just the baseball that we saw played was great for me. What do you got to say, Storms?
That was really well thought out, and you explained it very well. This one was better for me because I simply don't like anything involving the Chicago Cubs.
Oh my
He
God.
said
I can only be who I am.
And then, look,
I respect it.
well, that we petty. All right, we petty. Oh, Lord. Oh.
Ty, what do you say? What you rank it? I mean, I got to be up there for you being a fan.
Oh, it's definitely up there. And after thinking about it, I was like, okay, let me go back. Of course, I was too young for the early 90s shenanigans, but classic, I would say. But, it's a sleeper. And I'm reminded all this time because I live in the state. But 2001, D-backs and Yankees. I mean, yeah, 9/11, delayed it, and baseball was a big part of bringing, things back to normal. But that went to 7 games, and I'm correct. I was a walk-off that won that one for the D-backs, right? So I do remember that.
That Luis Gonzalez?
Yep.
Yep, Gonzo. So that's up there when I think about it. But this one had it all. Like, I've never seen just elite defense, long balls, small ball, benches clearing brawl almost. Just the emotion and then extra innings. So chef's kiss. If you were to say this was number one, I wouldn't be mad at you.
And just to go back to what you just said, just also the play that saved the World Series for them, the ground rule double, the ball stuck underneath the ball, the IQ just to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just the smarts and the IQ of what we saw in this series and how the managers played this series was great. Just seeing if the chess pieces being moved, how they were being played was amazing to me.
And I know you mentioned it already, but the difference it made going away from Pages and then inserting him back in to the game at the exact right time was pretty cool to watch. Like it was something that made sense that it would happen at some point, but you never know when the managers are going to pull that trigger because you don't want to lose Edmonds bat out of the lineup either.
Mm-hmm. It was poetry in motion if you think about it. Everything that Pages didn't do this series, and for him to get that play at that time and
Redemption.
to save the game, come on, man.
Yep.
Come on, man.
And Dodgers fans aren't going to give a shit what his batting average was.
Right. And
they don't care.
And Germ, just like you said about your Savage going into next year based off of what he did this last outing, think about what that catch does for Pages going into next year, knowing that he saved the freaking World Series for the Dodgers.
Confidence through the roof. And that's what you look for young players. That you don't just bring young players in and put them in these moments and not expect it to go either left or right. And fortunately, we got one that might go left, one that might go right.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll talk about it here next year, but we're definitely going to do some shows coming up with Gold Gloves, awards, all that was just named. We can't do it tonight because it's too long of a show. We just wanted to keep it a little short. Fellas, what's your outro? Storms, I see the meme behind you. What you want to touch about before we go?
Man, I do feel bad for Blue Jays fans though. Especially as big a part Teoscar Hernandez was as big a part of that team as Vladdy and Bo are, as George Springer is. And I know it hurt. I know it hurt to watch him leave and for them to finally get to the top of the mountain and to lose to him. I mean, not just to him, but but you see my name, you see my jersey. I'm glad Shohei got him another.
Let's go. What do you say, Ty? What you got to say, bro?
I'll say this. I love LA. If the baseball guys favor this, I'm going to just throw it out there and speak it into existence. 3-peat, third team to do it. Let's go, Dodgers. There's only been 2 other teams that's done it, the Yankees and the A's. So let it be our time. We are a dynasty, legitimate dynasty, no questions about it. And I'll rest my case.
All I got to say is worldwide, be ready for that. You better be ready for that.
The city of Cincinnati already sacrificed the Bengals 2025 season. You ain't getting a third.
I'll throw in the Giants. We sacrificed Scatterboo, so no, we don't. Please don't. We don't need that.
Haters.
Jaron, what you got to say, bro?
Honestly, from a standpoint of just regular novice baseball fans to people who love the game like we do here, just appreciate the greatness that we are seeing with guys like Otani, with guys like Vlad Jr. Like we experienced one of the greatest performances we probably ever will witness from one man.
Mm-hmm.
From a hitter hitting to pitching, and it just doesn't matter what it is that you. But 6, 8 strikeouts, whatever it is he's giving you, and then turn around after that to give you the long ball, the way he gives you the long ball pause, the way this guy just plays. Like I just have to give him you just got to give credit where it's due. And you know, Storm's names is Goatani for a reason. We talked about this before a couple of years back. We were just talking about Otani in general and what he meant to just like the Angels at the time, and how he was the second best player arguably on that team and Trout was first. To then go strike Trout out in the baseball classic 4 game and to come back full circle now and be the best player in the world, and then it be a margin now. That's next level stuff, man.
There's Otani and there's everybody else. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Chef, thanks for being in the background.
Because Ty has them on their team.
I'm saying, Jorge, I didn't come on screen for no reason.
Go ahead. Say your thing.
Okay, number one, the Blue Jays left 66 runners on bases in this World Series. And in one game, they left 19 runners on base. That was the 18-inning game. Number 2, Otani, the greatest single game performance in any sport. The only one better was probably Michael Phelps in 2008. Number 3, in any sport, defense wins championships. And the Dodgers closed Game 6 and Game 7 on their defense. That's all I had to say. That I claim Kershaw as well.